Hi.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 106. 106 of Rez Hockey Podcast. I am
Hello.
Trevor, and with me as always is Bushrat, aka Bush,
Yeah.
aka what else do we call you? Notice a lot of people when they mention you on social media, like especially on Facebook, they call you Bushrat.
Bush right.
It's pretty funny. I always get a good kick when people mention you as Bushrat. So yeah, last week, I don't know, things we kind of took a week off, I guess. It's always good. I think taking a week off here and there really it helps us.
It resets. Yeah.
Yeah, refresh our battery, recharge our battery. So yeah, so we're excited to come on for this week's episode. Um Whereas hockey, Bush and I, we are currently recording on the traditional land of the Anishinaabe. We are on Treaty 3 territory.
Tree
So
tree.
it's always good to acknowledge the land that we're on. And Bush is a part of the Treaty 3 community. He's from where are you from, Bush?
From Wendigo Island.
Northwest Angle 30
7.
37.
Yep.
There's a Northwest Angle 33 as well, and I always get them. Why does everyone always get them confused? Everyone, all the time.
Location. Yeah, I don't know.
Like you could go drive down Highway 71 a million times and you'll always get it confused.
Yeah.
But but yeah. This weekend was a tough weekend. We just
Yes.
want to dedicate this episode and give our thoughts and prayers to the butterfly family back home, the back my home, in Moose Factory, Moosonee. The Caden Butterfly, former guest and good friend of the show, lost his father, Ray, this past weekend. So we just want to send our condolences and that we're thinking of Caden, Nikki, Lil Brooks, and Ray's wife and Caden's mom, Mariah, right now. And um, we're really sorry for your loss. Ray was a really good guy. I've known Ray my whole life, ever since I was a little kid. Ray was always good to me. He treated me like family. Our family has have known each other for years and years. It goes back to my grandfather and Ray's mom. So I just been thinking of you guys all weekend, and you guys are in my thoughts and my prayers. And Ray was just a really good guy, and everyone has so much good things to say about him on social media. Been being away from home, and it was really good to see and for me to sorry to read and just and I knew that it was all good things because Ray was such a good guy. So um, but yeah, we just want to dedicate this episode in honor of Raymond Butterfly.
Mhm.
Um, He'd always tell me to he'd always tell me that he always gives hard saucers all the time because he was a really good hockey player, a really good ball player too. Growing up, I always liked watching him play baseball because he would just smack that ball, and he was a good player. Played Moosonee and Moose Factory at a junior B league, a team back in the 80s, and they won the districts, I guess, the Northern Ontario Junior Bs, and Ray was on that team, and I know he had some OHL scouts after him, so he was a really good player back in his day, and he was a big part of hockey in Moose Factory. Worked at their arena in Moose Factory, and yeah, he was a really good guy and a good hunter, good fisherman. So yeah, we're thinking about you guys back home in Moose Factory, and Ray will be missed, and I will miss him. It hit home this weekend. and but I'll always remember Ray as a good guy and someone that always treated me like family. So, Caden, Mariah, Brooks, Nikki, no, we're thinking of you guys, so we send our condolences. Oh, excuse me. This past weekend, oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Troy Williams of
Ooh.
signed with the Wheeling Nailers of the East Coast Hockey League, or ECHL they call it. Troy was a former guest of the show when he was playing U Sports with Lakehead Thunder Wolves. So now Troy's 5th season was complete. They lost in the playoffs, so he signed a deal with Wheeling Nailers. So
Yeah.
congratulations, Troy, on making it to the next level of hockey. And it just shows you that for the last 2-3 years, Bush and I have really been trying to tell the youth and talk to the youth about education and how important it is to play, to go to school, get your education, and play hockey
Yeah.
while you're going to school, and you can move up to that next level. And Troy is another perfect example of what we've been trying to say. Troy was drafted to the OHL, but he just played Tier 2, Manitoba, SIJHL, Saskatchewan, Junior League, and he ended up going to school at Lakehead University for 5 years. Did his degree. Now he's playing pro
Yeah.
hockey. I mean, so congratulations to Troy, and all the best. It's he looks pretty good in those Willie Naylor colors, eh?
Yep.
They are affiliated with Pittsburgh Penguins, so he has that
Ooh.
like the yellow. Would you call that gold or yellow?
I'm gonna go with gold.
Gold, yellow / yellow, black and white, classic Pittsburgh colors, and so it's pretty cool to see Troy in those colors, and we're happy for him. He's been a big supporter of our show for a number of years, and he's a down to earth guy. If you see him at a hockey tournament, he'll talk to you and
Yeah.
shoot the shit with you. So we're happy for Troy. We're happy for his family and his community. He usually plays with Eagle Lake Chiefs in the Rez tourney circuit, along with Norway House Bruins. When Eagle Lake doesn't put in teams, he'll usually play with Norway House Bruins. So, yeah, it's really cool to see former guests that we interviewed move up the hockey chain ladder. Does that make sense? The hockey ladder, I guess you could say.
You could say that. I would say, yeah, you know what? They're gold.
Yeah. Gold, yeah.
They're more gold than yellow.
Well, everyone knows what Pittsburgh Penguins colors are, right?
Yeah.
It we feel like parents, you know how parents say when they see their kids move, like graduate and move up.
Yeah.
That's how we feel with the former guests that we've interviewed. So we feel like proud parents. So yeah, keep it up, Troy, and I'm sure well we always say this when we talk about players who are like their teams are going to make the playoffs. Like we like this. Well, we would like to see you play at and see you at native res tourneys, but we don't because we want you and your team succeed in the playoffs, right?
Mhm.
So I'm not even check how the Wheeling Nailers are. I'm not even sure if they're in playoff contention. Okay, ECHL
Wheeling
standings.
Nailers.
I wonder if it's in the top. Okay, Wheeling. Do. They'll probably be in the north. Reading. Nope. Probably in the Western Conference. Oh, they're in 5th in the Western Conference. They have 30 wins, 20 losses, 1 tie, 1 shootout loss. That's not bad. They're 5th.
No.
So most likely they'll make the playoffs.
Mhm.
So yeah, let's go Nailers. That's a tongue twister. Willie
Wheeling
Nailers. Willie
Nailers.
Nailers. Willie Nailers. Willie Nailers. Say that 10 times, why don't you?
Wheeling Nailers. Yeah, Wheeling Nailers.
Say it 10 times.
No, I'll say it wide. I'll
Okay,
say
say it 5.
Wheeling Nailers, Wheeling Nailers, Wheeling Nailers, Wheeling Nailers, Wheeling Nailers.
Oh, yeah, you're good. You should freestyle rap, man.
Well, no, it goes to that Seinfeld episode. Lord Kramer's on strike for the
Oh,
bagel.
yeah.
He goes,
Bagel,
"Oh, no
bagel.
bagel, no bagel, no bagel, no bagel, no bagel, no bagel." I know I
Speaking
make
of
myself
rap,
laugh on Seinfeld.
I love Seinfeld. Speaking of rap, Ice Cube's tour in Canada right now.
Yeah, and I move on to the next topic because I
You
don't
see
really
a lot of
care.
like how much Native people are
Yeah.
going. Like I saw on social media on Facebook today, a Native lady threw an Ice Cube medallion, sorry, on
Oh
the
yeah.
stage, and Ice Cube caught it, and he's been wearing it.
Yeah.
Like, how long does that take to make a medallion of someone's face?
Yeah. And then just chuck it away.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a quote from someone to see if they can make a medallion of your face. I
Jesus.
wonder if I get paid double. Um, I tried to get us, I tried to get us medallions made, like our Rez Hockey podcast
Yeah.
medallions made, but the girl wanted like way too much. Like I never knew they charged that much for medallions. I guess where you gotta pay for your beads, your
Yeah.
needle and thread, your material,
And the time.
and the time. But damn, how long do you think it takes a person like a really good beater to make a medallion? 2 days? Three
No,
days?
I'd probably a week.
Week? Really?
Yeah. Well, if medallions are the job, then maybe a couple days or a week,
Like a
maybe a
pro?
day. Yeah, but if it's their job, then they'll set aside maybe the time for like a day and a half. But
My sister Tash said she was gonna make me a Rez Hockey medallion. And she hasn't done it yet. I think I've been waiting like 2 years.
I remember you saying it
Yeah.
about 2 years ago.
But she's so busy with her job, she travels like all the time. So hopefully I get it before hopefully the show doesn't end by the time I get
Yeah.
it. But yeah, that's a really that's a tough job, I guess, right?
Oh,
Or is it a hobby or is it a job?
it'd be a hobby.
Yeah. Is it a job once you start charging for medallions and you're making a profit off it? Is it a job then?
I
Or
don't
is
know.
it still a hobby?
Probably a hobby.
So, and that medallion was supposed to be like a CD size. That's a big
Oh,
ass medallion.
that's a lot of beads.
Yeah, that's so. Episode 105, we mentioned all the hockey players that were playing in the National Hockey League. Uh,
However,
however, Bush forgot two
I know
players.
I didn't Google them.
Um, we forgot
The
from the
conference.
Florida Panthers,
Yeah.
Mr. Brandon Montour. If Brandon Montour, I'm just typing in his name in. For those who don't remember, we discussed all the NHL players who are Métis and
Mhm.
Native, and we forgot these two
You
guys.
forgot them. Yeah.
So 42 games. Brandon has 4 goals, 15 assists for 19 points, 26
Yeah.
penalty minutes, and a +1. So he's not having as good of a year as he did last year. Because he was almost a point per
Yeah.
game player. 73 points in 80 games last year. He only has 20 this year. So, well, he's still good though. He's still really
Oh,
deadly,
yeah.
but still, I'm sure if I ever played, I freaking would have maybe like a couple of points. You know, when I remember growing up, remember a player named Brad Marsh?
Brad Marsh. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a defenseman with the Leafs and the Senators, Flyers, Detroit. Like we used to laugh at his stats because I just pulled up his stats. In 1,086 games, he only scored 26 23 goals, 175 points, 198 points in 1,086 games. Like his highest points in a season was 66 games. He got 2 goals, 22 assists, and 24 points. I mean, he didn't score more than 3 goals a season. So I used to laugh like that, laugh at his stats as a kid. But I'm sure if I ever played, I would. Like even in junior, I never got more than a couple goals. So I must have jinxed myself laughing at his stats as a kid, and it kind of reflected on my play. But as coaches always say, your stats. I don't know what they said. I was just trying to make something up. Another player that we forgot is Minnesota Wild Connor Dewar.
Connor
Dewar?
Dewar.
Dewar of DePaul, Manitoba. Connor's having a good season. He's mostly a third liner, but he can hit. He's a really fast forward. 52 games. He has 7 goals, 4 assists for 11 points. 20 penalty minutes and is a -9. He scored 7 goals. That's more than he did last year. He scored 6. He scored 6 goals in 81 games, but he scored 7 in 52. So he's getting more comfortable in the league. So I think that's it for Indigenous players in the NHL. I hope we didn't forget anyone. Would you consider Carey Price still a part of the NHL, or has he officially retired?
I think I think the writing's on the wall.
This
I think
is
he's
like,
officially retired, yeah.
yeah.
As a player, definitely.
Would you like Carey Price? Okay, he officially retired due to injury. Is that the way you would want to go out,
No, absolutely not.
or would you just want to go out on your own and it's like it's time for me to retire? Like
I think it's
that's shitty when players have to retire due to injury, like Eric Lindros,
yeah.
Pat LaFontaine, just 2 guys who had concussion problems. And
Mhm.
um, okay, I got a question for you.
Yeah,
You
I might
know
have an answer.
how, I hope you have an answer. Would you consider Auston Matthews Indigenous? He was born in California, raised in Arizona, and his parents are of Mexican descent. So Auston Matthews, they say like right when long time ago before the before the US was made, there was tribes all over North America and Central America, but now they're just saying, you know what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah, I know.
His parents are Brian and Emma Matthews, and he's of like Mexican descent. So would you consider Auston Matthews Indigenous?
Yeah, I would.
Because yeah, that's something if we should get like media passes or something and just ask them like, hey, would you consider yourself what, well, down in the States they call them Native Americans. What did what did that guy say to your buddy say to you again? Hey, this is Bush. He's a reservation Indian. Oh, can't believe he said that. Like, what kind of other Indians are there? It sounded like as if you were like just fresh off the res or something.
Yeah.
And Bush, he's a reservation Indian. Fuck, I should have punched him in the face and he said that. Me too, you know. But yeah, that's a good question. We'll ask it on our Facebook question. Would you consider Auston Matthews Indigenous? Because he is of Mexican descent. His mom's Espanol.
Hmm.
So is he one of
Espanol.
us? Let's Google it. Is Auston Matthews national national nationality. It says American. Is and this and what and this and necess what? How do you say that word? A necessity. A necessity. A
Ethnicity.
necessity. Um, due to his mother's Mexican ancestry, Matthews can speak some Spanish. So, so yeah, there you go. Who else is the four current Hispanic NHL players in 2023? Max Pacioretty, Alec Martinez, Matt Nieto of Pittsburgh Penguins. I know we always butcher someone's name. So I wonder if you consider those guys Indigenous as well. Toronto's losing 4-2 to Vegas right now, so
That's okay.
that's
That
okay.
is more than okay.
They kicked the crap out of Vegas last week though, so but yeah, we will ask. It'd be cool if we do consider him Indigenous, right?
Yeah.
We have like the best goal scorer in NHL right now who's Indigenous. So
Second best goal scorer.
who do you think's the first?
Connor.
Do you consider him a goal scorer or more of a passer?
I think he's more of a fed up player right now.
How come he always, when he gets mad, he breaks his stick like a big baby? How come he just can't take it like a man and grow up? But no, he has to break his sticks. He just breaks them because he doesn't have to pay for them.
Yeah.
If I didn't have to pay for my sticks, you know how much sticks I would go through as well?
A bit.
I broke my stick one time because I was mad and I was against Bush's team, and I was like, damn, I wish I didn't break my stick. Because they don't make those sticks no more. I was like, shh. But anyways, oh yeah, I forgot to mention our guest for this week, for this
Yes.
episode. He's a Rez tourney legend out in British Columbia. Our guest for this week is Mr. Shawn Billy. So we're looking forward to sitting down with Shawn and talking some puck.
Yep.
Speaking of Shawn, let's go to our interview that we have with Mr. Billy. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Rez Hockey. For this week's episode, we like to introduce our guest. Where is he from, Bush?
He is from Secwepemc, BC.
Very
First
good.
Nation.
Very good. I lost the bet. So yeah, he's from out west. He's from BC. We would like to introduce our guest for this week. Jeez.
Shawn.
I know, my phone. Mr. Shawn. I'll edit that out. Mr. Shawn Billy, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, guys. Always a big fan of your podcast, with the way you guys promote the game throughout Canada and beyond, right? So it's been listening to your guys' podcast. It's great to hear everybody's story in hockey, right? It's a great way to bring our people together and, keep healthy and active. So
exactly.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. We made a post a while back and your name came up a couple times. A couple guys messaged me and when we asked who would we like to have on the show for 2024, yeah, and your name came up. So we really thank you for coming on the show and share some of your Rez stories, because I think that was one of the things we really wanted to promote, is just to have a lot of guys who just played a lot of Rez tourneys, and just because every tourney you go to, you'll have a good story. You'll make a good memory. You'll make new friends. So we just want to have guys like yourself who played in the Rez tourney circuit for a number of years to come on and share some stories, man.
Yeah. It's always an adventure, every tournament. Yeah. So such a good life. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. So how did you get started in hockey?
Yeah, so I grew up in the little town Chase. It's in the Shuswap Terry, Secwepemc. So we never had a hockey rink in our little town there, so we'd have to travel to Kamloops. There's a small group of my buddies, kind of right from initiation all the way up to midget. We played together, and my buddy Eli Jules, Aaron Arnoose. We traveled to Kamloops to play minor hockey. It's a pretty big town for BC Kamloops. A lot of hockey opportunity there. So, played like I said, right from initiation up to midget there. Kind of bantam midget area is right on that cusp of the kind of the top rep teams in Kamloops there. Kind of the last cuts. As a smaller kid, so really kind of right on that edge, right to the end there. But usually kind of the second rep team I'd be playing on. It's a different atmosphere for myself. Going to a big town, there's a lot of non-natives playing there, right? So kind of felt a little out of place that way socially, but I really enjoyed going to the native tournaments, right? So that's like in BC, we had a couple of the junior native tournaments. Might be kind of equivalent to the provincials with the what you see in the prairie. So
Yeah.
kind of Merritt had a junior native tournament. Osu's had a native junior tournament, and there's one up in Prince George as well. So that's kind of like all the minor hockey ages, and that's where I really felt at home and felt at a place. Kind of playing with my Indigenous brothers. Meeting them from all over the territory. So that's where I really found passion for the game, and like I said, I was on that cusp of those top rep teams and went to one junior camp, but my heart really wasn't into it, right? Like being away from home at a young age. So it's like, yeah, I'll go to the camp, and experienced it, but really didn't apply myself. That is really enjoyed the Rez circuit ever since I was young. My dad kind of hosted our team, the Blades, through our community here. So I was playing Blades, the junior native tournaments, then straight into the men's tournaments. It was all full contact. It's a pretty small circuit out in BC. We had Salmon Arm, that's not in existence anymore. Williams Lake, that one's still going. There was 2 in Williams Lake, the All Nations, and then Cecil's tournament, and then Merritt and Vernon. Prince George, that was a big one. That was the big one that we always look forward to. That was almost equivalent to like a Brandon. It had 4 divisions.
Yeah.
Like an A division. That's where you'd see the Lumber Kings and all the top teams around, competing in that full contact A division. So yeah, that's kind of a snapshot of kind of my start, my passion. It was always with playing on the Rez circuit, meeting the guys and traveling to different tournaments. So pretty small circuit out here in BC, but there's a lot more to it. Yeah.
Who were some of the big teams out in BC?
So around our area, it kind of came in waves, eh? So when I was kind of growing up, it was like the Vernon Totems, teams like that, and then Shanna Braves, they're pretty strong, and then we're kind of the younger team coming up. And once me and Eli and Aaron kind of came out of minor hockey, we were kind of the young guys, and we played with the veterans in our community. We did pretty good. We won a few tournaments. We won the last ever Salmon Arm men's native tournament. It was full contact, and we must have been maybe bantam or midget age, playing with some pretty good hockey players, the Stu Jacksons, and Prince George would come down. Of course, you guys probably heard of the Prince George Lumber Kings. They were the dominant force in BC. You had rest in peace Joey Potskins on there, the Ghost Keepers, just a solid group of guys. They had Barry Jackson on there, and just they traveled over to the prairies quite a bit. And I kind of heard their stories. As like growing up in BC, you hear these tournaments of out in the prairies out there. They're bigger. It's just a whole different world. I was able to experience it, but I would say Prince George, the Lumber Kings, they're legendary out here in BC. So those are the teams off the top of my head.
When the Prince George came to play in NAF, and this is years and years ago, there wasn't even competition for our area. It's just they're passing, they're skating, they were so good. So when you mentioned Prince George, I was like, yeah, I aged myself, but I remember watching those guys, and everybody can always like, holy crap, these guys are from BC, and they're like, wow, these guys got game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the pinnacle. When I was a kid, I was watching Joey and all those guys play. I got to play with Joey a few times as a young guy, and he, just playing with those veterans, and then hanging around, just always a good time, good laughs, and kind of learning from them. And and that was the pinnacle from my eyes, being from BC. And then there's just different levels as you travel around, right? It's been quite the adventure, me traveling around all over Western Canada, being able to play. So
For those who don't know about the legend, uh, the late Joey Potkin, how good of a player was he back in the day?
yeah, so he played junior. Chilliwack, he holds some of the records out in Chilliwack. And then, once you get to the Rez tournaments around here, you see these players out there as like a different level, right? Like there's good players, and then there's those elite players that, when they go to a tournament. Like I heard it a couple times. He's the original kind of thousand in a room type player, right?
Yeah.
Like people wanted him on the team, and people, the guys, everybody knew who he was in BC, right? And yeah, unfortunately he passed recently, and it's big loss for the sporting community in hockey and baseball. So fastball, he was a good ball player as well, like right into the major league systems, right? So
Um, oh, have you you must have came out. Have you ever played in Ontario in the Res tourney, or have you just stuck around like the prairies, BC?
yeah, so how that worked is like I said, Prince George was the pinnacle, right?
Yeah.
And one year this team from the prairies, Don Burnsticks Redskins, came into Prince George. He came in and beat Prince George, the unbeatable team, right? And I was like, just another eye opener for me as well. There's another level out there, right? So Don Burnstick put together a pretty solid team in Prince George. He had Ted Nolan helping him coach there, and it was just a big spectacle, right? It's like, wow. First of all, they beat the Lumber Kings, and he's got Ted Nolan and all these matching jerseys, bags, and he comes in and changes the game, right? So, I was able to travel over there. I didn't get on that team right away. I put it in my mind, I want to play for that team someday, right? And I couldn't just go up to Don and Ted in the middle of a packed kind of social environment, like a dance, right? Like everybody in the whole tournament's trying to play for him, right? And I was like,
Yeah.
I can't just go up there. I'm just gonna whatever. I'll get to chat with him whenever I do, right? But yeah, I ended up meeting the captain, Robert Cardinal, by chance there when I was out visiting my brother in Winnipeg. Just a random drop in, and I just ended up skating with him there, and then ended up jumping on that Redskins team there, and then played with that team for, oh man, maybe 3 or 4 years all over Alberta, Saskatchewan. Yeah, Winnipeg, all the way up to Whitehorse. We had Don sourced us out to a chief up there in Whitehorse. Every year that was full contact. He sent us up, about 9 of us up there, and we thought we were going to join the team up there, but it was just us 9, right? So going in a full contact tournament with 9 guys, I was, oh man, this is going to be a rough one. And yeah, that was the last year. Every year they had full contact. That might have been one of our players kind of took the full contact out of Derek Watson. You guys know Derek?
Yeah.
Monster. Yeah. So he made a real big hit at the blue line there in the finals. There's a packed barn. The other team had 4 lines. We had our 9 guys. Monster made that monster hit and kind of changed the trajectory of that game, and he got kicked out. Then we're down to 7, but we ended up winning that A division with the small bench, and that they took the hitting out of that year. So it was a clean hit, but yeah, I think that guy got hurt pretty good. There's one of the biggest open ice hits I've ever seen in my life. And, yeah, so,
Do you
yeah.
think res tourneys should be contacts?
Yeah, like that's how I grew up, playing full contact. But you understand the insurance and stuff. Like BC was full contact up to Merritt. Moxon was the last full contact tournament in BC. Like everyone was full contact when I was growing up in my 20s, right before I left to go play out east there. So yeah, I like it definitely changes the game. And, you look at tournaments like Freddie and it's all full contact and, it just definitely changes the game. And, you really got to be on your game and heads up. It's heads up hockey. And I went out to Brandon there and watched the A side. There's full contact. There's some big hits out there. I'm a big fan of the full contact, right? But I understand the way the insurance and stuff and everybody's going right now. And yeah.
What about fighting? I know, like you mentioned, Brandon, a lot of tournaments in that area, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, they all carry a person who could scrap on each team. Do you think fighting should be allowed in res tourneys?
Yeah, I think it's like it's hockey, right? And like people enjoy the fighting, and it's always been a part of the game. And a lot of the tournaments kind of phase it out with one fight, and you're gone out of the tournament, right? But I think if there's one fight and then the second fight, you might get kicked out. It might reduce some of the craziness that goes on in the game, right? Like sometimes people get out of hand in tournaments, but if they're able to police themselves, it helps the game out.
So what you recall the most skilled player you played with and against?
Yeah, like I said, I was very fortunate to end up on that Redskins team, and I played all over Western Canada. I played with the Roulette brothers, Ivan, JJ, Nick in their prime, Tyler Shantz, coming out of pro playing at the Redskins, Jamie Muswagon from northern Manitoba, Billy and Ashley Cameron. We played with Brett Dodging Horse and Robin Big Snake. They came playing with Don a couple times, like those type of guys, like coming out of pros. Like I never played pro or junior, but like when I was playing at the Redskins, that's kind of what I imagined because Don put on such a good team. Like I felt like he took care of everything. We had matching. The first time I met Don, he gave me a leather coat and a Redskins bag. I was like, wow, this is cool. And he took care of everything, and he knew a lot of Robert Cardinal, knew a lot of players throughout Western Canada, right through his playing career. And man, there's just so many good players. There's players from BC, very talented, like the Robin Gilberts and the Francis Johnsons, and people who haven't really traveled out east, but they're very good hockey players. And it's just transitioning over into my old timer career, right? Like I'm still able to travel around, like damn that COVID, it took out my prime. As soon as I turned 40, COVID was here. It's like, man, I was supposed to be traveling all over playing old timer hockeys, but COVID took out those 2 or 3 years. And, after that, like I'm always trying to get my buddies to travel back east just to see the level of talent, even in the old timers division, it's still real good hockey, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I played with Ivan, I played with Nick, JJ for last 25 years or so. For our listeners, how good was Ivan? How fast was Ivan back in the day?
Man, it's just a different kind of speed, right? It's like a couple of strides. Like when we were traveling a lot with the Redskins and Ivan, was playing Juan, it's like he winds up and he's gone. It's just something to see. Don's got some old, VHS tapes, and I upload them once in a while. And I see Ivan take off, and I posted one a couple of years ago, and I was, oh man, where'd you find that? And Ivan is just such a good bro of mine, and being able to play with those guys, it's been such a treat, and I was just lucky to kept getting called back again and again with Don as we traveled through the years. So Don's last tournament was in Brandon. We had a good squad, and we lost to Peguis in the finals. And the kind of guys got a little sidetracked, with the nightlife. And Don was okay. Well, he kind of called it quits after that. But Don really liked winning, and he really liked looking after the guys. And so once the guys got sidetracked, he kind of put it off to the side there. So.
We Bush and I talked about that a couple episodes about the nightlife, and what's your opinion on should when teams are like that, like Don, he'll dish out money and get the best of the best to play. Should players like that should they how should I word it? Should they stay sober because they're getting paid to play, right? So should they stay sober all weekend and listen to the boss of the team to stay away from the booze?
Yeah, like I think so. You know, you guys getting like some of the money getting thrown around nowadays is a lot more than from our area in the Redskins, right? Like
Yeah.
Don really looked after us, and he wanted to win, and you know, and that was Don's a sober guy, and like I haven't drank in 25 years, and like seeing all that, you know, traveling through Indian country, seeing all the big tournaments and all the major talent, and then also the effect of the nightlife, right? And like
Yeah.
come Sunday morning, you know, if you're rested up and you know, haven't been out all night, you'll be able to skate a little
Mhm.
better, right? But definitely it's a big factor. And, you know, you seeing it time and time again, you know, even in my little circuit in BC, I managed the Blades for a couple of years after I got home from the Redskins, you know, trying to elevate our game here in BC. We did pretty good, you know, we got probably around 2017 was our top, you know, we won all the tournaments in BC. And then we got to Vernon. We were winning the finals 3-1 after the halfway through the game. And then we were playing against Drew Rose and most of the guys from up north, And then we had one period to have the Grand Slam in BC, but you know, the Rosie factor kicked in.
Yeah.
He scored a goal, and then I think Francis Johnson scored a goal, and Willie Sellers was in net. He kind of shut the door on us, and man, but that's just trying to elevate the game and showing the guys in my community, okay, if you're dedicated and you know you keep at it, we could start winning, right?
Yeah.
And that's all the teaching I got from Don, right? Okay, try to look good, get some nice jerseys, get some matching sales, get some matching bags, you know, and it's just trying to elevate that game in BC because, like I said, I try to bring guys back to East as much as I can to see, just to have a glimpse of like a tournament like Brandon or, you know, Indian Stanley Cup back in the day. Man, that was probably the hardest tournament, you know, to win back to back, and you know, and full contact. The stands just packed. Like our tournaments here are small. They're fun, but you know, there's just different levels out there,
Yeah.
right?
When
Mhm.
you played for Don and the Redskins, did it give you guys confidence knowing you guys looked like a team? You guys had jackets, bags, helmets, and you guys really looked like a professional team. Did that confidence lead things to the ice?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, for myself, like I never played junior or pro, but maybe some of the other guys might have been more used to it. But for a guy like myself, you know, coming out of BC, not seeing that is like, man, I feel like a team, and I feel like, man, I feel like, and then people recognize it. You know, you're walking out in the stands with your Redskins go, and people start talking, "Oh, you guys are pretty good. Where you all from?" And then he just explained them like, Don just gets guys from here and there, right? And he's got a tight group of bros that really, you know, wanted to play for him and wanted to, you know, elevate the game during that time. And it was just a whole different experience where I wanted to bring it back to BC, right?
What about old timers now? I saw you played in Brandon. How did you guys who did you play for and how did you guys do in Brandon?
Yeah, I was playing for Sandy Bay. We lost in the finals against Team G. Peguis, that's a age-old story when you go to that tournament. See
Yeah.
Peguis and Sandy Bay in the finals, and they're battling back and forth, you know. So it was a good game. I think we lost 2-0 there. We went through the A side, and you know we just couldn't get her going in the finals there. But it was always a fun time in Brandon. We won that last year, the year before with Shane Goffredson's team 10K. We kind of traveled around the full year. Then we were able to win tournaments, old timer tournaments all over in Saskatchewan, BC, and Manitoba. And then yeah, I jumped on Javenier there for Red Deer Shane Goodreading tournament. That was a big
Yeah.
tournament. Sean Javenier put together a pretty stacked old timer squad. And Jesse Dudas,
Is he
Darren
what is that
Reed,
like a
Darren
35 plus?
35. Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
35 plus. So yeah, those 35ers like Jesse Dudas, Darren Reed,
The
Cody,
stats.
Cody Peterson, Tyson Watney, Tyler Shantz, Ashley Cameron, yeah, and then
Holy jeez.
Al Anderson. That was a super. And then you got Chiquita there, police and everything around. So it was just, yeah, it was a good time. You know, Corey Giroux, man, that was probably one of the stacked old timers I've been on. So
Yeah, sounds like
you
a
look at teams
stacked
like
team.
that, it's like, yeah, you look like teams like that, team like that would just destroy the competitive teams in BC.
Yeah.
Lately it's been Tecumseh's War Chiefs. They won the last two BC tournaments. My bro Josh Gofferson putting on a pretty good team there, kind of led by Casey Pierre Zabato. So Zabby's
Okay,
been
yeah.
playing with Josh, and yeah, so they got a good core group of cousins here in Kamloops here. That's who I'm playing with tonight. We got a late league game in here in Kamloops, so yeah, that's kind of the leading team in BC right now is Josh Gofferson, the Kamloops War Chief. They won the most recent team, the Merritt Moccasin. So that's the 55th annual Moccasin tournament. A
Okay.
lot of history there. You know, but BC, it's just seems like it's struggling a bit right now, trying to get teams. But there's a few good teams and steady teams that are going at it, and it just takes new guys like Josh to keep promoting the game and giving people an opportunity.
In your pictures on your Facebook, I saw that Ray Francis came out of retirement. How is Franny doing out there?
Man, Franny,
He's unreal, eh?
yeah, he's unreal. He played with us in the Redskins, and
Yeah.
he gets that puck moving. His vision and his movement, and he could just next thing you know, he's behind the net, and then next thing you know, somebody on the far blue line has the puck, and they're on a breakaway, and he's just got such good vision. And yeah, just being able to play with people like that is just such a treat. And yeah, and Franny, he stays out here in Kelowna, and we were able to talk him to come on out and playing in Merritt last year. We won that one last year with our old timers 10K. So yeah, he's a beauty. He's another beauty. The pleasure of playing with, right? So
Yeah. Let's talk some NHL hockey. Who's your favorite team growing up?
yeah, well, being in BC, this is given, right? It's the Canucks, right? So I've been always watching the Canucks. Got to go watch a game with my boys last Saturday against the Boston Bruins. They were able to come back from 2-0. They came back and won in overtime. So my boys got really excited, you know. But yeah, I got a long-standing meme. I just always changing my Facebook profile to a different jersey, and it rubs everybody the wrong way, like I'm a ship jumper. But I just do it to bug people. But I'm always the Canucks, right? Pretty excited where they're at right now, and you know they're kind of at the top of the league. But pretty sad that they lost Ethan Bear there. But I'm happy
Yeah.
Ethan Bear is doing well in Washington there. So
Do you think they'll make it far in the playoffs?
I hope so. Either that or they're gonna riot again, right? Vancouver's crazy. They like to destroy their city if they don't win it, or like in '94 and the last one against Boston there, man. The people are just they get crazy in that town when they don't win, right? So but yeah, they haven't won yet, so I'm hoping they can win it, right? So
Advice. What advice would you give young native kids coming up the ranks?
yeah, just be dedicated and grab opportunities. There's all sorts of opportunities, and I like looking at the Connor Roulettes in the world. Succeed in the WHL. He's in town here tomorrow night. Actually, me and my boys will go watch him again, just to see the level that our native kids can get at, right? And we run programs in Chase here. We got minor hockey, then we run our First Nations skate day every day. New Year's we start that out. We have the whole rink and we get all the First Nations player. It's a pretty fun day. And recently we've just been renting extra ice for the guys in the morning because just to get that extra ice time, just to take any ice time you can get, and really stay healthy and keep a good mind, right?
Before we let you go, we'll finish our interview with what we call the famous 5 rapid niche questions. You ready?
Right. Yep.
Question number 1: baked or fried bannock?
Oh man, I'm just like everybody else. My grandma made the best fried bread ever. So, but But recently, my wife introduced me to bake. My beautiful wife from Anishinaabe territory, Pamela. She's been making the baked bannock, so I kind of transitioned to baked.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love baked too.
yeah, toasted like peanut butter and jam on the baked.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Have it in the morning. Have it with eggs, whatever's left over. Yeah.
Question number 2: Ever use a bed sheet for a curtain or a door?
Yep. All the above. Probably even a wall sometimes.
Question number 3: Ever see Ernest Munias live in concert?
No, I never did. No, I really want to though. Like, such a great, icon in Indigenous music. So always rocking his tunes.
Pre-game tunes.
Yeah, yeah. Fired up.
Question number 4: Indian taco or bannock burger?
I'll have to go with Indian taco, I guess. Yeah.
Fifth and last question: Can you jig?
Again, nope. I never had a chance to jig, but I'm always, that comes from my wife's territory. A lot of good jiggers out there, so I'm trying to tap into that. Like I've always been a dancer. Whether it's Indigenous dance and power dance, and so really would like to learn that dance.
Right on. Well, Shawn, thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate you taking the time, especially before our hockey game there. So yeah, thanks for coming on the show, and we'll appreciate it. And hopefully we get to meet up one of these days in the Rez Tourney circuit.
Yeah, come on out to BC, guys. It's different look out here, but we got some tourneys out here. So, again, thank you guys for promoting this awesome game we have and always being out at the tournaments. Quick shout out to those people always promoting it. That Smudge the Blades, Beacon Hockey, Dodging Horse Development, working with
Yep.
the youth. People like that really promoting our youth and giving them opportunity and promoting this awesome game we have to visit throughout Turtle Island. So thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, good luck, bro, in tonight's game, and we'll keep in touch for sure.
Right on. Have a good day, guys.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk to you later.
See ya. Hi.
Hi, welcome back. Welcome back from
Got
our
it.
interview with Mr. Shawn Billy. That's a pretty sounds like a cowboy name. Eh? It sounds like a
Shawn.
Western name. Shawn Billy. Like
Yeah.
Billy the Kid.
William H. Bonney.
So yeah, welcome back. I think that was part of our goal when we wanted to start this show, is just to have not necessarily like all junior pro players and college players. We wanted to have like the res tourney players, guys who love playing res tourneys, guys that played res tourneys for a number of years, like
Yeah.
Shawn has. So it's always good to have these res players, the guys that really played the good Sunday hockey and played these crazy res tourneys. Because I'm sure all of us has one time in our life played a res tourney. We were thinking like, what the hell are we doing here? So yeah, thanks for coming on, Shawn. I really appreciate you coming on, especially when he has a hockey game tonight, a few hours later. So thanks for coming on. For this week's Rez Hockey Top 5, it's Bush has his list. So take it away, Bush. The hell's your hat say anyways? I've been wondering.
Liebherr.
Lieber.
Yeah, it's a log off floater I used to run when I worked at the mill.
Oh,
And,
okay.
Swagger, they used to bring us hats. I got a toque.
Yeah, I could see it.
Captain Obvious here.
Yeah.
All right. I have, for those of you not know, Trev and I are going to display our skills in Evelyn, Minnesota at the Big Stick Tournament in the Hippodrome. So these are top 5 things that I'm going to bring to the tournament. I'm going to bring team tape.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I'm a one-man team. That's all I'll need. I'm going to bring water bottles. Because
Really?
I don't want none of you guys sharing my water bottles. You guys can have your own. Number 3, I'm gonna bring up clipboard to draw power plays.
And here's me, big
Here's
X.
me. It's
And I'm sure you'll probably bring a black marker and a red one. I'm sure you're gonna put yourself as like the red marker. Here's
Yeah.
me,
here's
X,
me.
and
I'm gonna bring Tim Horton coffee pods. We'll be in the
yeah,
States.
because hotel coffee is usually shitty.
Yeah, it's not very good. And the last thing I'm gonna bring my $1,000 in a room type of plays.
Woo! Sunday.
It's Sunday.
The only hotel in the town that we're staying in is Super 8, so they have shitty coffee. I'm not a coffee
Yeah,
drinker, but I'm
It's
sure.
not the best coffee.
Yeah. We're going to Eveleth, Minnesota. It is home of USA Hockey. Like
Hall of
all the
Fame.
years, yeah, Hockey Hall of Fame. Of all the years that we played there, I never, like all the times I've driven through Eveleth, I never stopped.
Well, let's go see it. Well, we'll have some time on Saturday. If you want.
Yeah, we can. Who's in USA Hockey anyways? Oh, Henry Boucher from Warroad. It's the only person I know. They must have NHL players like Mike
got it.
Modano, Chris Chelios,
Yeah, there's when
Mike
I was
Richter.
in Bemidji 96 when we lost the World Cup to the US.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about that until I went to the USA Hall of Fame. There's a big picture of that hockey team.
Is there?
Yeah. I was like, oh no, I remember that. Then all those memories come back when I was in Bemidji. I knew the place where I was sitting. I knew I could name you the bar stool. I could name you the songs that were playing that as soon as, especially when Brett Hall's high sticked that goal. Yeah. He high sticked.
I watched a video on YouTube on why Brett Hall played for US and not Canada. He said that Team USA gave him a chance when he was young.
Mm.
And Team Canada never gave him a chance.
Probably.
So
Was that
it was
87?
Yeah, so it was more of a loyalty thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And one thing I found out that I never knew about Brett Hall, like he wasn't close to his dad growing up.
Oh, really? Huh.
Brett Hall when Brett Hall's parents divorced, he moved to BC with his mom. And he grew up BC, played in the junior and BC league, so he wasn't close with his dad.
Oh.
So his dad was like, yeah, wasn't around. So I think they made up like later on when Brett turned pro. So that was a long time. So I was wow. So Brett Hall kind of made it on his own.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you get hockey dads who have connections and played the game will kind of, hey, look at my son. What can you do? Can you help us out and shit like that? But yeah, Brett Hall. But like he went to University of Minnesota Duluth. Ever see those pictures from like the 80s of like college hockey? They all wore like goalie masks, right? That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Americans, I tell you. Just kidding, Bush.
Okay, thank you.
If you forgot, or unless you're new to the show, Bush is half American.
Yeah.
Probably his face half. So Bush is Americano.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We won't hold it against him, I guess.
Okay. Oh, that's so sweet.
Are you really bringing team tape?
I'll bring a couple rolls of tape. I got Costco tape.
No, I don't like Costco tape. That's like cheap tape, man.
Well, that's what
it's
I
like
have.
A different. It's like a dark brown. Ever notice it? It's not. It's a weird color. So, yeah, looking forward to going to Minnesota to play. I can't wait to go eat. Are we stopping at Border Bar Pizza?
We're stopping at Border Bar. Yeah, we're stopping to get some pizza.
That's the best pizza when it's cold.
Yeah.
Can't wait to go to Target.
We're not going to fill up the truck when we come
home. I'm not telling my sister that I'm going. Because last year, my sister sent me like $300 and I had to go shopping for her. She said, can you buy me snacks that we usually don't have in Canada. So I was like, okay, I'll go shopping. I went to Walmart and I had like 30 grocery bags, and we had a hard
I
time
know.
putting our hockey equipment, our clothes, our sticks, and
Yeah.
all the groceries in the back of Bush's truck. And then I had to pack it all up in boxes and send it on the bus.
Yeah.
So I'm telling her I'm not going. Like, I'm sorry, Aaron. Um, that's just too much, man.
So we should edit that part out.
Yeah, well, I'll edit this part out, but yeah, I'm not going shopping. That was a lot of
Yeah.
stuff I got them. And the funny thing is, like, they ate all that stuff for like the first week. Like,
Oh,
imagine
jeez.
me, like, imagine going to Walmart and spending $300 just on snacks,
Yeah.
like snacks you can't get in Canada. I think the only thing they didn't eat was the corned beef hash. I got them in the US. The Walmart brand. What is that Walmart brand called again? Uh, whatever it is, they have corned beef hash in a Walmart brand, and I'd never seen that before. And my brother-in-law, I got him those, those squeeze bottles of the foam cheese. He ate it.
Oh,
Remember that cheese? He ate like I
yeah.
got him 2 bottles, and he ate it like the first week, like
Oh
both
my
bottles.
God.
That's probably the only thing I'll probably get is those cheese for my brother-in-law for putting it up with my sister. So yeah, I'm looking forward to our our trip in the
Yeah.
state.
Should be good. Should be fun. See those boys, Rich, everybody, Rich,
Yeah,
Bruce,
it's old timers
Austin.
hockey, but
Yeah.
they try so hard against when they play against us
Yeah.
Canadians because they say it's Canada's sport, right? So it's just like if a baseball team came up from the States and
Yeah.
played us Canadians up here, we'd try so hard to beat the Americans at their own game, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we would.
But yeah, it's fun.
Mhm.
It's 3.5 hour drive
I
south we'll
did
be
about
driving.
3.5, 3.5,
So
4 hours. 4 hours
Bush
tops.
Bush will be driving and I will probably be sleeping.
Yeah. Stop off at Border Bar for lunch, some pizza there and back.
Oh yeah. And for those who don't know, like American pizza is like way better for some
Yep.
reason, right?
Their
It's
toppings, I
their
think.
toppings, it's full of grease, but it's good.
Mhm.
Probably 15 minutes later, you're hitting the bathroom good.
Yeah, I think on the way back we're stopping and we're gonna order maybe like I'm gonna order like 4 pizzas to go.
Are you?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because we freeze it and then you air fry it up.
When you air fry it, your
Yeah, when
pizza when you
it
freeze it?
crisps. Well, no, like when you warm it up and everything, that like the next day, whatever, you freeze it and then
Why? It takes so long. In microwave, it takes 30 seconds.
no, you gotta crisp it.
Instead of making it soggy.
Yep.
You are a smart man, Dennis. You are a smart man. I'll try that. But I don't know if I have the patience. If I want to, usually I eat my pizza kind of lukewarm, half cold,
Mm.
half warm. I don't think I can totally go all hot for leftover pizza. Big news. Uh, Winnipeg Jets.
Ooh,
We live
yeah.
close to Winnipeg. We're 2 hours. Well, you're 2 hours. I'm an hour away from Winnipeg. They might be the owner is considering maybe moving away from Winnipeg if things don't pick up. Do you think the Jets will move again?
No, I don't think so. I don't think Batman will allow it.
I guess there's only nine. I think it sits 15,000 and there's only
Yeah.
9,000 season tickets. Is that, I mean, when Winnipeg first came back,
Yeah.
there was like, you were put on a waiting list for like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And now they can't get enough season tickets. Like, what's up with
Mhm.
that?
I think the cost. That and there's lots of things. I don't think there's just one factor because, well, for instance, it's cashless now. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people don't like to always use their card. I mean, depending on their bank fees and that, right? You get dinged every time you use it.
That's true. I looked into it, and you could put $250 down on a season ticket seat right now and
Oh
pay the
yeah.
rest. And they make payments. You can make payments. Maybe we should get some season tickets
Oh, maybe.
and just sell the ones that we can go to.
Yeah,
The only games that I want though is Toronto.
of course.
That's pretty much it. You could have the crappy Oilers.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I guess I will.
I'd go see Connor Bedard.
Yeah.
Well, they're there twice, so we'll go once each. Nothing, no one else I would really want to see, like on top of my head. Maybe Zach Whitecloud, Brandon Montour,
hmm
see them once a year. But yeah, maybe we should think about season tickets to the Jets and just sell the tickets that we don't go to.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, we could.
or we could just donate them
We could donate them, yeah.
to families that don't have the privilege of going to a game.
Yep.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
Um, we both received books um from Mr. Shaylin Fox. We thank you for the books again. Have you read your book?
I tried to read it on the flight to and from Sweden, but I couldn't concentrate.
Why?
Then I tried to read it to Ottawa, but we had a little bit of a turbulence, and I had a headache because I didn't bring my glasses to read.
Your bifocals?
I'm serious, so I was
I
just getting a headache. I haven't read it yet.
I started this book, Ted
Ted
Nolan,
Nolan.
Life in Two Worlds, when I was in Mexico on the beach. The picture behind me, that's where I was. It was a really good book. He talks about his coaching days with Buffalo, Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, Moncton Wildcats. Talks about Kenora when
Yep.
he played Tier 2 junior for Kenora Thistles. And he talks about your dad. He about when the the natives occupied Anishinaabe Park. And it was really cool that he brought that up because that was a big thing back in the 70s in the Kenora area where it was really things really hit the fan, I guess you could see, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can say that.
So it was really cool that he brought it up. He talked about Buffalo, about how he won Coach of the Year, and he kind of got shit on by the Buffalo organization. And he talked about the three Nolans, talks about his kids, and talks about his wife and his family. He was he was like a mama's boy, so he's really talks about his family a lot, and it was really cool to read, and I'm glad I read it. I'll bring it down Friday so you could read it.
Okay.
Never
That means you're
mind.
gonna drive.
I know I was just gonna shit. But I totally recommend this book. If you love reading about our people, this is a life in two worlds. I totally recommend it. I'm gonna get it signed when I no, yeah, maybe I'm going to Little NHL. He'll be at Little NHL. Maybe
Mhm.
I'll just hold until I get it signed. But we'll see. How fast can you read?
How fast can I read? I used to be able to speed reading when I was in university.
30 years ago? Okay, you can't read that fast.
Well, okay, in the mid 90s, do you remember
That program where that guy could read, like he can just look at the page and just read really fast.
skims with his fingers?
It was one of those
As well as infomercials that are on
yeah,
at like
infomercials
3 in the
that
morning.
he's like the world's fastest reader. That guy. Are you like him?
I was at some point because when you read to yourself, there is a voice, a dialogue, an inner dialogue that narrates the words for you in your head. He teaches you to ignore that. So when you ignore that, the only restriction is how fast you can read, and you can comprehend it and you can recall it. So it's a really, really good. It's a really cool trick to learn.
Shit, you're like a Jedi, man. You're like a really you're like Yoda.
Well, I mean, when you read to yourself and you'll catch your inner dialogue, reading and pronouncing every syllable, every word, and he teaches you to dial that down to shut it off, and then you'll be able to read as fast, just skim it. Next page, next page. I was pretty good. Like
Do you give out Indian names? I want a name. I'm gonna give you an Indian name.
Okay.
Dennis, man who reads fast. That's your new Indian name.
Okay,
Hi. But yeah, it's I know what you mean. I used to do that when I used to read Calvin and Hobbes. Uh, with that being said, anything else before we skedaddle for the week?
I think we're good.
I think you're good. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Rez Hockey. I'm Trev and this is Bush. And like we mentioned at the beginning of the show, we like to dedicate this episode to Mr. Raymond Butterfly. Ray was a beauty. He's going to be missed, and he's going to be remembered of a guy who loved to laugh, loved to play sports, and a family man who really cared for his family and friends. So, Ray, this one's for you, buddy. Thank you for everything you've done for me and treating me the way you treated me all those years growing up and even today as a man. So thank you, Ray. We're thinking of everyone back home. So yeah, thanks for joining us for this week's episode. We will see you next week. So take care of each other, love each other, and respect each other. And yeah, we'll see you next week, guys. Peace.